I feel like I've been reviewing or sharing quite a few of these psychological thriller type books lately, and this is another one in that genre. This is The Favorites by Rosemary Hennigan. So this one is about Jessie. Jessie will stop at nothing to get accepted into the prestigious Law and Lit program at Franklin University. Not because she's impressed that only 6 students are selected each semester, or because of the connections she could make, but to get close to Professor J. Crane. Crane was in a secret relationship with one of his students, who is Jessie's beloved older sister. And she feels that he may be responsible for her death, for her sister's death. As Jessie gets closer to her goal, is her end game justice or revenge? So this one's kind of interesting. The author worked as a solicitor and as an advocate for human rights. And she's written one previous book, I think, just the one. So she was inspired to write this book as a response to the Me Too movement and the events of 2016. So the book is set in 2016, and it mentions a lot of the events and upheaval of that year. It initially, to me, from the blurb and things like that, it seems pitched as a dark academia revenge story, which is how it starts. Sorry, that's my cat. Hi, Griff. Could you not step on the crunchy paper, please? Sir, please. So cute. Yeah, so initially it was pitched as dark academia revenge story. And I would say that's kind of how it starts. But with the events of that year of 2016 being so real world relevant, and the themes being very much foregrounded over the plot and the story, it feels more like an exercise in exploring the political landscape of that time or that year, or kind of preaching, like making it has a point to make, you know. Large sections of the book take place in the classroom, in the Law and Lit classroom, and these really kind of felt like speeches or diatribes in a lot of ways. I mean, more than one character is talking, but they're really like hammering in the points that they're trying to make. So yeah, that's a really bland way of just stating the themes and ideas that the author is exploring. And I just found these sections a bit boring. They're not that interesting, you know? I did wonder, I mean, it's such a weird course. So basically the Law and Lit course that they do is they read like a classic text, and then they sort of compare it to modern American law and ethics within that. And it's just like, how is this relevant? Like, how is To Kill a Mockingbird or like any of the other stuff they read? I'm like, what is the connection here? You know, like it just seems like, what would you get out of that as a law student? I don't know. It's just a bit, I don't know. So yeah, I did kind of wonder how reading those famous books and plays that they read in the book have anything to do with learning about law in contemporary America. And it just seems like a really unlikely subject for a course. But yeah, so Jessie and her plot for revenge are a nice idea. The plotting on this one is really slowed down by those classroom sections, and that really messes with the tension building. It makes for quite a soft read, especially when the story tries to get going in the last third. Jessie starts to enact her revenge, but never really takes off, and the ending feels really disappointing and flat. It's not what you would kind of expect. Yeah, I mean, there doesn't seem to be a lot of justification for her revenge, in my opinion. Her older sister, Audrey, had been like, she's obsessed with her sister Audrey. So if somebody looks at Audrey for too long, she'll go and key their car. Like, it's not a normal sibling relationship or sister relationship, maybe more specifically. So her revenge feels more motivated by her obsession with her sister than having a lot of evidence of any crime. And that kind of annoyed me. But the book seems to honestly believe her behavior is somehow acceptable. And more to the point, in the book, she's described as wearing her sister's clothes. She has the same last name. They have similar mannerisms and things like that. They have the same accent because they're from the same place, you know. And we're meant to believe that Crane does not immediately figure out that they're related. It's really silly. Audrey herself, not a character in the book, but she's kind of the book's, motivation or the MacGuffin. She's kind of really just a victim. She's blonde, kind, gets along with everyone, and the sisters were like so close, except they can't have been that close based on them not sharing certain important information with each other that, is pertinent to the book. But that's her whole personality. She's just the object that motivates her sister to act, and that sort of gives her an end goal. But she's never quite real. She's a little too perfect, sort of damsel in distress. But I mean, what were her hopes and dreams? What was her favorite color? I don't know. Like she just exists. And that just kind of was lame for me. Another odd thing is that Jessie and her sister have their law school education paid for by their parents, and they come from a really affluent part of Ireland. So basically, they are white and rich, and yet a lot of the time in this book, Jessie spends time talking about how privileged everyone else around her is. And I just thought that was really stupid. She sort of goes on about it sometimes, and I'm like, but you are that thing. Like, that's you. So it just really annoyed me because I was like, how can you be so blind? Anyway. So this one just didn't quite get there for me. I can see what the author wanted to write about and what she was seeing in 2016 and about the political climate, and most especially about the Me Too movement and the way that the law in the US deals with sexual assault. I think Jessie being strange and a bit deranged really detracted from that goal, and the plot was filled with too much of those long, talky scenes. It needed a lot more grit and less talk, more plot and coming to grips with the issues and emotions, and less kind of elitist hand-wringing, basically. So, I mean, I think some people might enjoy some of the questions that arise from reading this book, but it doesn't work as a thriller because the plot isn't there for that. And I do think sometimes books are done a disservice by being a little bit mismarketed, because I went into this being sold on dark academia, thriller. I mean, all these points could have still been made in that kind of genre. But when I'm reading it, it feels disappointing because it's got this setup and it just doesn't deliver on that. And I don't think it really made any points that haven't already been made elsewhere. And I don't know. Also, I do feel like 2016 was shall we say, an interesting year. And it really, I don't know. I mean, it's almost 2024 now, and things are still happening now. And I don't know. I just feel like it's going to date the book by being really specific to that year. It almost feels a bit irrelevant because events from that time are still developing and are still, in progress and things like that now. So, bit of a strange one. But yeah, as I said, I think this one may resonate with some of you, and there's nothing wrong with that. Just because I didn't like something doesn't mean that somebody else. I'm sure, like, I've seen people on Goodreads be like, I loved this, and I think that's great. For me, it was too slow. I don't love a slow book when it's got that kind of thriller plot. And there was not enough meat on the bones for the plot to really prove the book's main points for me. So that's my take on it. But a thank you to HarperCollins Canada, because they sent me a lovely little ARC of this book for review and to share with you guys. You can check out some of my other videos. I also have another channel and socials, so you can find links below if you want more of that. And if you want to hang out again, remember to like and subscribe. And you can always leave a comment, let me know what you thought, or let me know what else you might want to see. Thank you.